Mike is hot. It's go time. Hello, everybody. Welcome in. It is Magic Game Day. I'm Jake Chapman. She's Chrissy Birdsall. We're up here on the radio perch, and it is Fan Appreciation Night. Can you believe it? The final regular season home game is upon us. The Magic winners of 3 straight. Very much still in the mix to get yourself out of the play-in scenario in the Eastern Conference. You could end up with the 5 seed. I don't think that's going to happen. But 6 seed is very much still up for grabs. The Magic just got to take care of business, keep winning your games, and then we'll see what Toronto and Philadelphia and Charlotte and Atlanta and all those other guys do. But you are essentially fully healthy. You're still missing Jonathan Isaac. But for the first time since Franz Wagner's injury, Chrissy Birdsall, which was back on December 7th at Madison Square Garden, for the first time since then, you've got Franz and Jalen in the starting lineup tonight and Anthony Black available off the bench. We've had a couple false starts. We had Franz coming off the bench those 2 games before the All-Star break. We didn't have Jalen for the London and the Germany game. But we got our boys back here tonight. Better late than never. There's only 3 games left in the regular season, but you finally feel like you've got the group together that was the vision in the summertime and in training camp and early on in the regular season. Circumstances took over, and you've just been kind of playing with what you got for most of the year. But here we are. We've got a fresh, hopefully, and ready to contribute for more than 19 minutes a night Franz Wagner. We've got Anthony Black, who made his return on Monday. Looked really good. Looked like Anthony Black coming off the bench, and that's the rightful role, I think, or at the very least, he was great as a starter. But that's what you wanted for Anthony Black in year 3 is the opportunity to come off the bench and to contribute and be that 6th man. I think we can start to see what exactly the vision was. Hopefully, we start to see some immediate results. Things have looked better the last couple days, but certainly like a sort of a renewed sense, I think, of optimism this morning at shootaround. Bottom line is you feel like you're getting whole at the right time, and this time of year, it's typically the healthiest teams that are best off, and it feels weird saying it, but we may be one of the more healthy teams across the league right now. Knock on wood. It's been a long time coming, but here we are.
Yeah, no better time like the present. 3 games left in the regular season. Last home regular season game, the Magic coming off of 3 straight wins. It feels like everything is clicking at the right time, just like we thought it would from the beginning of the season, Jake. And yeah, you mentioned it. Having your mostly full lineup back, getting the announcement earlier today. Wendell Carter Jr., Jamal Cain, both active in tonight's game. Still no J.I., still no Jet Howard, but you get Anthony Black back. You get Franz Wagner back. You get both of those guys on the court. You get that starting 5 that we really haven't seen that much this season. There's a lot to feel good about going into tonight's game, not only with the momentum that you've been building up to this point, the matchup you have against Minnesota, who we'll talk about their status report coming up in the next couple of minutes of where they've clinched their play-in spot or their postseason berth, so they're not really putting everybody out on their line. So you got to feel good about where the Magic are heading into these last 3 games starting tonight here at the Kia Center.
Yeah, the starting 5 of Jalen, Desmond Bane, Franz Paulo, and Wendell Carter Jr. This will be the 17th game that those guys have played together. It will be the 15th game that they've played as the starting 5, and they are 8-8 in games that they've been on the floor together and 7-7 as starters. So hasn't really had the chance to take off, but also hadn't been bad. And if you look at the ratings, the defensive rating is fantastic. It's a 107.4 defensive rating and a net rating of plus 10.2. So you're talking about in that small sample size, it's about 160 minutes those guys have played together this year. You're outscoring your opponents by 10 points per 100 possessions. So essentially that is a 10-point margin of victory night in and night out if you had that group on the floor together for 100 possessions per game. That is obviously extrapolated, but the bottom line is they've defended very well, and they've been very good when they've been on the floor together. You've had Anthony Black, Tristan da Silva as part of those equations, and those guys have acquitted themselves very well. But the big difference that we've seen, and I saw it the other night a little bit because Franz didn't play, but I saw it this morning at shoot-around because they let me watch, is Franz in the starting lineup, Anthony Black, Tristan da Silva as part of your second unit. Boy, that sounds like a second unit, and I think that's the big difference. We know the starting lineup has been able to make do with the injuries. That hasn't been the issue. When the injuries have really hit this team, it's been when you broke the lineup, and all of a sudden your bench bunch were your starters, and your third unit guys ended up having to be your bench bunch. right now, with Jamal Cain, the way he's been playing, and you mentioned it, he will be available again tonight. Got banged up the other night, but he is. I think it would take him losing his left leg in order for him to not pounce on the opportunity that he has in front of him, which is playing well on a playoff and play-in bound team. He's got a role as far as the second unit goes, but now it can be just fill in the blanks and fill in the cracks. Goga Batadze, Mo Wagner are both going to have opportunities, I think, before all is said and done. As your backup center, you've got Javon Carter to kind of organize things. But for Tristan Da Silva and Anthony Black to be able to be featured pieces within the second unit, and then obviously, playing major roles often in crunch time and with the starting group on the floor when you break that lineup, that's a luxury, and that's how this thing was designed. Great opportunity for both those guys, and just the idea of feeling whole again, having all those guys available tonight. I think that's a big sort of notch of confidence heading down the stretch here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you think about these two guys who got thrusted into these roles that were really out of their comfort zone. Tristan Da Silva getting some starts early in the season when Jalen Suggs was out, when Paolo was out, and then Anthony Black, his emergence, what he's been able to do, where he's ended up starting in 40 games this season. And then now they're getting put back into the roles that they were meant to right at the beginning of the season, coming off of the bench, being that offensive and defensive spark plugs for this team. So you got to think not only are they coming in with a little bit more experience, but a little bit more confidence. So when they come off of the bench, they have starting experience. They have high rep minutes. They have a lot of minutes played together. They're used to this formation, and now that they're coming off of the bench, they can do what they were meant to do. Come off, make an impact on both ends of the floor, help that second unit when we need it most. So it's going to be really interesting to see. You mentioned the starting lineup, how little they've been able to play together, getting used to each other. Now's the time you got to figure it out. You only got 3 games left in the season. You got a good opportunity to, air out some of the kinks here against this Minnesota Timberwolves team and really start to prepare yourself for the postseason as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the Timberwolves status report. It is a long one, so let's address that because I was sitting there last night paying attention. This is what it comes down to this time of year. Obviously, we're locked in on Toronto and Atlanta, Philadelphia, Charlotte, everybody with us, Miami, who can't seem to help us out at all right now as we come down the stretch. But I was locked in last night on the Timberwolves, who won their game, but then later on, the Rockets played the Suns last night, and by virtue of Houston beating Phoenix, that locked in the top 6 seed for Minnesota because Phoenix couldn't catch them. And that, I think, is why their status report looks the way it does tonight. It's one of those, let's get some work in for guys who may have a role coming down the stretch for the Timberwolves. They're essentially locked into the 6th seed in the Western Conference. One more loss, and they will be locked into the 6th seed. They can't fall into the play-in scenario. They still have a very outside shot of locking up the 5 seed, but I think they're good to go in the 6th seed, especially if that means they match up with the Lakers in round 1. Rudy Gobert is out tonight due to rest. Mike Conley is out tonight due to rest. Julius Randle is out tonight. He's got soreness in his right hand, which I would think, come game 80, probably everybody's right hand is a little bit sore, but we won't have Julius Randle tonight. Anthony Edwards, who's been dealing with right knee injury management, has played 2 games in the last 3 weeks or so, but he's going to be out again tonight. He's missed the last couple. Ayo Dosunmu is out tonight, right calf maintenance, and I think that's it. I believe if I go through, I'm not missing anybody on that list. Bottom line is, you're going to see a whole lot of Bones Highland tonight. I think you're going to see a whole lot of, DiVincenzo, Jaden McDaniels, those other guys in the starting lineup who aren't necessarily featured offensive players and more floor spacers. I think they may try to get some good, playmaking work in, see if they can show a little more than they usually are allowed to. We may see 25 minutes from Joe Ingles tonight, our old buddy. Have no idea what Chris Finch is cooking up, but I do know that their main components offensively will all be sitting this one out tonight. Yes, that adds to the gotta get it factor for the Magic, but the bottom line was whoever it is that Minnesota was going to trot out tonight, you have to have this game if you want any opportunity of climbing any further. You woke up this morning as the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. That feels really good. Right now, the ultimate goal is avoiding the 9-10 line.
Right.
You don't want that one-and-done scenario. But the other part is this. First time we saw these guys, I can make the argument, Chrissy, that 119-92 win in Minnesota back on March 7th, just a month ago, which it feels like ages ago, that might have been the best road win of the season. I mean, we hammered them in that game. It was a plus 21 rebounding battle. On the glass, we absolutely destroyed them. This is a team with a whole lot of size, obviously. We held them to 36% shooting from the field and 9 of 40 from three-point range, 22%. It was one of the best performances across the board for us all season, and it came to a head in the fourth quarter, held them to 14 fourth-quarter points that night. It was a great win, and if we're able to replicate that at all, especially with all the guys they're missing, then you'll be feeling pretty good about yourself.
Yeah, it was part of that 7-game win streak back at the beginning of March, and it was a really all-around effort. I think Bane had 30 points, no three-pointers made. Something we've talked about this season is just how much he's been able to get inside, drive. Paulo Banchero, 25 points. He had 15 rebounds in that game as well, played really well. It was the points in the paint where the Magic really dominated. 60 compared to Minnesota's 38.
Yep.
And this is a Minnesota team that's pretty strong when they can get inside, get off the glass, and rebound. But the Magic had their number the entire night, and each quarter it just felt like the team was getting a little bit better. Now, the one bad thing was that was the game Anthony Black got injured. He played 2 minutes. He had the ab strain that he missed the last 15 games for. But you got to see Tristan da Silva slide into that role. He had himself a really solid game as well. So it's going to be interesting to see this time around. Obviously, Minnesota's not going to forget that game. No matter who is coming out, they want to be able to rectify that loss from earlier in the season. But for the Magic, you got to feel a little bit confident coming off of that win now entering tonight.
I'm glad you mentioned Tristan because I thought it was one of his best games of the season, especially coming off the bench. He played 31 minutes that night, only scored 11 points. So typically you say, okay, Tristan's solid defensively, and he's going to knock down open shots in the perimeter, and those are his primary roles. He did a bit of everything that night. He contributed without making threes. He was 1 of 4 from three-point range, but he had 11 points, 7 boards, 4 assists, and 2 steals, and he was a game-high plus 24 in his 31 minutes on the floor. That is the type of stuff. I don't know if he's going to play 31 minutes coming down the stretch here, but that's the type of impact I know Coach Mosley is hoping Tristan da Silva can have sliding into that bench role and hopefully doing so alongside Anthony Black. So that was a great performance. I'm glad you mentioned Desmond Bane that night. He's been so good all season long, but one of those games where he got to the free throw line 10 times, that's how he puts up 30 without knocking down any threes. But we've seen all year long that the three ball is a big part of what Desmond Bane does, but it's not the only part of what Desmond Bane does. And boy, has he been awesome last 5 games. He's been your leading scorer, just under 23 points per game over the last 5, coming off another 25-point outing against Detroit the other night. Made 4 of 7 threes, and last 5 games shooting just under 44% from three-point range. Still absolutely knocked down and locked down when you get him to the free throw line and when you get the ball in his hands late. But he's been awesome, and he's been absolutely everything you've asked for over these last 5 games and really all season long. And then Jalen and his assist numbers are really starting to pop. A season-high 12 assists the other night. Last 5 games, he's averaging 9 assists per game, and even going back over the last 10 games, 7.5 assists per game for Jalen Suggs. It feels like guys are sort of settling into their roles right now. We know what Jalen does defensively, but distributing the basketball, and now that you got Paulo and Franz and Desmond Bane to sort of run the show in the scoring department, having Jalen play a little bit more point guard is I think, fitting in well with everybody else.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because Coach Mosley and Jalen Suggs both talked about that at the end of the game the other day against Detroit. I think it was Coach Mosley who said, well, he was a quarterback for a reason, and you can see that with his court vision, the poise that he had against Detroit. He was making plays for everybody else, and Jalen Suggs saying that it's just nice to have playmakers on the floor. All you got to do is he just has to give it to them, and they'll knock down the shots. But one thing that Jalen Suggs said that stood out to me was that he said, yes, the assist number was really good. He felt really happy about it. He was more excited about only having 1 turnover in that game. He had 12 assists, 1 turnover, and he said that's what he was paying attention to, and that's been a source of frustration for him this season. So to knock that number down to just 1, he was really proud of that, and I think that's going to be really important for him going forward, not only for his confidence, but the playmaking as well.
Well, and for the team in general, I mean, if you think back, we were talking about the pace numbers a little bit the other night. Magic now, over the last 10 games, 6th in the league in pace, and part of that is a function of playing teams like Toronto and Atlanta, and some of it wasn't great. We played at a high pace, and we turned the ball over way too much. What we want to do is play at a higher pace, and Anthony Black's going to help that, but protect the basketball first and foremost. You can't just, run up and down the floor and kick the ball around the gym, especially as we come down the stretch here. And those turnovers are huge. And so as Jalen settles in and gets more comfortable facilitating, but also more comfortable protecting the basketball with Jalen a lot of times, and you love him, but it's like we don't need the home run pass.
Right.
We certainly don't need the between the legs leave it pass that ends up trickling out of bounds. Just hit a whole bunch of singles, and I think lately he's been hitting them singles, and that's exactly what you're looking for as far as Jalen goes on the playmaking front and really across the board. We have a whole bunch of very talented passers, but sometimes I think we get enamored with the beautiful pocket pass through three defenders' arms and just make the easy pass, keep that thing popping around and facilitating, and that's what you're looking for. You mentioned, and we mentioned, Jamal Cain and Wendell Carter Jr. will be available tonight. Left calf contusion for Jamal. Dell's got a nasal fracture. I thought it was a neck injury. How did that? I don't understand how all that broke.
Jake.
The
They're all
other day,
connected.
nose bone, neck bone, et cetera, et cetera. So Dell's going to have to deal with that mask tonight. We got our first look at, between Desmond Bain and the Bain mask, and then Franz at the beginning of the year. We got mask crusaders all over the place. Wendell could probably just deal with a mask forever. Like the amount of punishment that dude's head and face takes. He used to wear goggles just for that very specific reason, but he'll have that mask on tonight. But good to go. You're missing Jett Howard. He's got an ankle sprain. You're missing Jonathan Isaac. He's got a knee sprain. And we don't have any update on J.I. yet, but, that looks pretty good as far as I'm concerned, especially this time of year.
Right, yeah. You mentioned the health being so important down the stretch, and not only are you're getting guys healthy. You're getting guys back, which is really important. And you talked about Wendell Carter Jr. We weren't sure what it was when he first got down. Like you said, they initially called it a neck sprain and then did the nasal fracture, and we got to see him in the mask this morning. I love what Franz Wagner said about it, too. I think it was Philip that asked him during shoot-around. He said, it's just you got to adjust to it. And I think having it in shoot-around, getting used to it, we'll see how he does. And you mentioned he's worn the goggles before, so he should be good when he gets out on the court. I saw Kyle Gaming and a couple other people on the chat asking about if he was going to wear a mask. Yes, he will. We did see it this morning. Should be very interesting to see. But the most important thing is that he's on the floor. And you need somebody like Wendell, somebody who's been playing more consistent minutes, who's been playing really good. I would say in this last month or so, his numbers have just been increasing. And you see that confidence, how a couple of big shots. You think back to Lakers, you think back to Dallas, that he's able to get it done in the clutch, but he's been able to really dominate the paint for the most part of this last month or so.
Yeah, for sure. He's 19 of his last 22 games. He's scored in double figures. And over his last 5 games, I believe it is, he is up around 16.8 points per game in the month of April. That's his last 4 games. And that is, if you can, I don't think you can count on 17 points a night from Wendell Carter Jr., but if you can just get that little sort of boost in the arm offensively, that makes a massive difference for Desmond Bain. That makes a massive difference for Franz Wagner, and obviously makes a massive difference for Paolo Banchero. Jake Chapman, Chrissy Birdsall here with you. We are up here on the radio deck. We'll have your radio call beginning at 6:30. Pregame show, 96.9 The Game, our flagship station here in Central Florida. You can always stream us in the Central Florida area on the iHeartRadio app, the Orlando Magic app as well. If you're outside of the listening area, check us out on Sirius XM and on NBA League Pass Audio. Think we've got Jamal Mosley down in the Magic Media Room. We will have him, if not right now, in a matter of moments. Real quick, just want to send our appreciation to all of you for playing alongside with us all season long. It's been a blast doing these pregame chats. I know Chrissy has appreciated it. She's usually a lot more locked in on the comments that are coming in because it's hard for me. I have so many tabs open, I just lose it, and I just don't even know where I'm supposed to get those comments from. But y'all are the best. We've had so much fun with you guys this year, and keep the faith. Hopefully, this is not the last time we do this. I have a feeling it will not be, but you never know. This could be it.
Maybe next year we'll teach you how to do the split screen. So that's how I do it. I get the notes on the one side, the comments on the other side, so I'm able to look at them.
No, that's not even. Don't you have issues switching back and forth?
No, not at all. It's like watching a quad box on YouTube where my mind is just in 4 different places at once. So I do enjoy reading your guys' comments too, especially when they're good, when they're bad. All of them are really funny, interesting to see. I actually just saw Prying AA talk about a tweet that he saw that the first time we have Jalen Franz and AB since 12/7/25. Wasn't that your tweet?
That was my tweet.
That was your tweet. So see?
Some post that I saw today. Prying, Come on, guys. All right, let's go down. We'll check in with Magic head coach Jamal Mosley.
Coach, your group's been in this situation a few times this year where you're playing a team that looks a little bit different from what they normally do. When you're in that situation, how do you prepare the group? What are the key things that you try to hammer home on?
You focus on our standard, how we want to play, and obviously, do we learn from the lessons of games before? And I think that's a big portion of what we have to do tonight. How we want to play both defensively and offensively, and how we want to share the ball like we have been. How do we continue to sit down and guard? It doesn't matter who's on the floor, who they put out there. It is about our standard and how we want to come out.
I know we were recently talking about Desmond, Teammate of the Year award, finalist, all that stuff, but this is the first time tonight he'll play 80 games in his career. Just what does that say about him as a player and at this point in his career, getting that number of games up there?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about his professionalism, his demeanor, his approach to every single day, making sure he's taking care of his body, doing all the right things. That's a goal he set out for, to be able to do that. And I think it says even more so about, what we know and who he is. We talked about all the great things he's done, but for him to put that goal out, on the table and be able to do it, that says a lot about the man that he is.
You mentioned it in the answer to Dan, but how vital, or at this stage of the season, how important is it to be, tweaking and as you say, playing your best and getting there to get to the results and focusing on yourself?
It's every game. You focus on what you do. You focus on how you want to play. We've talked about the games where you see us play and it's not our best brand of basketball, and you can call it out. Tonight is one of those nights you want to play your best brand of basketball moving forward, and that's all you can take care of tonight. Again, I go back to it. No matter who they put on the floor, these are NBA guys. These are guys that know how to play. They're guys that know how to win. They've got a winning coach. All those things are real things, and we understand exactly what they can do, understanding the personnel who's out there. If you have not seen them play 24 or 36 minutes, or maybe they've played 10, you need to know who your opponent is and how you need to compete against them.
You're kind of in the middle of this playoff chase, and so results really matter to where you end up. But how has your approach to kind of the end of the season and ramping up toward the postseason and playing your best basketball changed over the last 3 years?
It's always one game at a time. You've heard me say that, and from the beginning, in these playoff runs, you always talk about playing your best basketball, and I think it's honing in on the details of the game. What can you continue to do to get better? What chemistry works with the different lineups, different units, all those things. You're looking at them throughout each game, and then we watch it on film. You go through the shoot-arounds, you go through the practices, looking at all the small details of the game that you can continue to improve.
Yeah, Coach, to kind of piggyback off of that, where do you see this, what changes? You want to have the same process, obviously, but what changes and tweaks have you learned from these maybe failures in the past where you're not getting as far as maybe you wanted to, and how are you applying that to this particular group?
I think it's going to go back into the details of the game. Missing box outs in situations. Can we go from good to great on our passing? The defensive end, how much are we crawling into the ball? How are we guarding the pick and roll the right way? All the small details within the game that we can look at, that's what we have to do. Our run game, how are we getting out in transition? Is our spacing right? All those little small details matter.
Coach, a week ago today, you were answering questions about the effort and the energy of your team in sort of a gut check type of a loss. How have you seen them take accountability as players and as people over these last 3 games for being better in that particular regard and maybe being self-motivated there?
Yeah, it started after the Toronto game, and then you go to the Phoenix game. And our guys played with a sense of urgency, a toughness, a physicality. And then you walk into the Atlanta game, which was a back-to-back, and the guys, didn't have as much energy as they needed to in that game, but it was in spurts. It wasn't the entire game. And so with us, it's just one game at a time, but also in the league, just wait a week. The narrative changes.
Jamal, you kind of mentioned it. Obviously, not overlooking anybody. They all have NBA players on their roster, but to not have to go against a guy like Anthony Edwards, does that make your job just a little bit easier tonight?
No. You got to play the game. And is a problem. We all know that, what he's capable of doing. But it doesn't make it any easier to go against, other NBA guys that we have to know and understand and respect each one of these players because they are in the NBA for a reason, and they are very capable for a reason. And that's what you have to have the mindset going in of it's our standard, how we want to play, how we want to represent ourselves on this court for our last regular home game of the season, of the regular season, and that we owe it to our fans to play a certain style of Magic basketball.
Coach, it's the first game back with pretty much the top 7 rotation and most of the depth. How do you help the team kind of balance using sets that you already know works with helping the team find the open man and the hot hand with all these different ball handlers capable of kind of, upping their volume any given night? Yeah,
that's a really good question. And what I say to that is the ability to play our defense first, because that's no matter who it is, where they are, they understand how we got to defend. And then when you get those stops, you're out and running. And so when you're out and running, those are the answers themselves. You push the pace, you get to your spots on the floor, you make the right play, the right pass at the right time, and that's good basketball. That's how continuity is created. That's how you play off of a flow with one another. That's a big portion of it for us.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right, Magic head coach Jamal Mosley, welcome back. It's Magic Game Day. Jake Chapman, Chrissy Birdsall here with you up on the perch, getting set for Fan Appreciation Night game 41 of 41 here at Kia Center.
Wow.
Here. Low tier. And the Magic looking for 4 straight wins, trying to stay alive for the hunt for the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. Right now, the 8th seed. We are even record-wise with Philadelphia, although they have the head-to-head. Basically, everybody has the head-to-head except for Miami against us. But you're a game out of the 6th seed. The Raptors 44-35. We couldn't get any help from Miami last night with regards to Toronto, but they got one more shot to work their way back into our good graces. It feels very, very weird and dirty saying this, but come on, Miami. We need a little bit of help. That'll be tomorrow. We got to take care of our business first and foremost. The Raptors finished with Miami. They've got New York on Friday, and the Knicks could very well still be playing for something at that point. And then the Nets, which is essentially a dub, game 82 on Sunday. So we essentially need Toronto because they have the head-to-head to lose 2 of those games. So if they beat Miami tomorrow, it's going to be tough. Then all of a sudden we need Jordy Fernandez and the Nets to come up with a miracle on Sunday. With that said, the primary goal right now is to hold on to the 8 seed and don't dip back into the 9-10 scenario. That 7 seed would be very, very appealing because then you get the home game for that 7-8 matchup. And you got to hope Philadelphia stumbles and Toronto drops 2 of their last 3. And then you got to make sure that you take care of business and win all 3. This is probably, I don't know what Boston will look like on Sunday. Chicago is not interested in winning games at all. As Jamal Mosley just said, like just because they don't have Anthony Edwards and Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle and Ayo Dosunmu tonight doesn't mean that they're a bunch of pushovers. Like, they got some really good players who will still be on the floor. They're a very well-coached team, and they're a good defensive team. So this is the type team that even when they are missing their top 3 scorers can still win a basketball game. And you're going to have to make sure that you lock in, you're not overlooking anybody, and that you are playing your best basketball. Got to share the ball, and first and foremost, you have to defend. You got to play Magic basketball on that end tonight against this Minnesota group.
Yeah, none of it matters in terms of standings-wise if you don't get the games that you're supposed to get.
Correct.
And it's not even winning out, that's a huge key to where the Magic are going to fall in the standings. If they win these next 3 games, you could be looking at as high as 6. I know you don't say the 5th seed is as attainable. We just need Atlanta to lose all 3, Toronto to lose 2 out of 3, the 76ers to lose 1 out of 3, and the Hornets to lose 1 more. I feel like that's possible.
Okay, when you put it like that.
There's a few things. Also, shout out, I think it was
which includes Miami winning again, by the way. Like, in order for Atlanta to lose all 3.
Come on, Miami.
The Cavs, come on, Cavs. I mean, I grew up saying, come on, Cavs. There's actually a song, come on, Cavs. I'll sing the definitely off air. But the Cavs got to beat them twice, and then we need Miami to win in game 82. I don't even, where will the Heat be by game 82? They could already have 1 foot in Kabul by then. It's very frustrating, depending on the Miami Heat for anything.
Yeah, no, it should be interesting to see. But even if you don't get that 5th seed with Atlanta losing out, I think with some of those other scenarios, you can get as high as 6th or 7th, which is very important for this team. We mentioned you just want to avoid that 9-10 line because having 2 chances to make it into the postseason is just so much more for this team. You heard Coach Mosley say it, talking about, I think it was Kristen Lago that was asking about the energy and the effort in the last week after that loss to Toronto. He said we responded against Phoenix, didn't come out maybe in some spurts against Atlanta, but then a week later, he said, just wait a week and the narrative changes. Now this team's won 3 straight. All hope is back again. There's a chance. There's, everybody feels good about it, but you have to finish out the season strong, come into it. Even if you don't get that 5th or 6th seed avoiding the play-in, coming in as one of the hottest teams entering the play-in is going to do so much for this team's confidence. And if they can do that on the 7-8 line, give themselves a chance, 2 chances to make the postseason, I think it'll be all the better for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it's a game of runs. It's a season of streaks, right? Like it wasn't that long ago. Literally a month ago when we played these guys, we were peaking, and it felt like there was nothing going to stand in our way with in between us and a deep playoff run. And then you hit the skids. And the truth is always somewhere in the middle. It's I'm not sure we were as good as 8 straight wins. I know we weren't as bad as 7 straight losses. But the bottom line is you're starting to get your guys back. You feel like, I think, you've treaded water long enough. And it's kind of feeling like the Titanic where, like, everybody's grabbing their spots on the lifeboats and on the life rafts. You know what I'm saying? And there's only so many spots, and you better grab your spot real quick. But we could look down and have a speedboat that underneath us, right? We've got a rested Franz Wagner, a rested Anthony Black, and hopefully, I think we have the sense that our best basketball was not that far off. Like, all we got to do is kind of bottle up what we've seen the last couple days, defend and play Magic basketball on that end, and share the basketball on the other end. And you can accomplish just about anything as far as I'm concerned.
Should be interesting to see tonight. And the fact that you've had all of these guys come back for a game or two. You had Franz come back for a few games, even though he sat the other night. Anthony Black getting a game back. So now you're getting over that clunkiness, too, that we've heard Coach Mosley say at the beginning when guys first started to get back. I think that's going to help this team all the better. But it all starts tonight. You got to get a win against Minnesota. Keep those, playoff hopes alive, at least avoiding the play-in wise. It all starts tonight against Minnesota. You have to take care of home.
And send these fans out of here with a dub on Fan Appreciation Night. What better way to show the fans that you appreciate them than by going 25-15 on your home record, or at the very least here at Kia Center. You got to remember we had that one home game in Europe, which it's screwing up all my numbers, and I don't appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for locking in all season long. We ain't done yet. We'll be back if there's a home play-in game, a home playoff game, several home playoff games. We will be right up here, 2 hours before tip-off time with Magic Game Day. She's Chrissy Birdsall. Awesome job all season long.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. I'm Jake Chapman. Our broadcast begins at 6:30 with Magic Tonight, the pregame show, 96.9 The Game, our flagship station here in Central Florida. Always stream us on the iHeartRadio app, the Orlando Magic app. Outside of the listening area, check us out on SiriusXM or on NBA League Pass Audio. That's it for us. We're going to send you down to the floor. Until next time, go Magic.
Overcoming every hurdle, dedicated and sublime. With this passion, we gon' hurt you, something surgical. We hope to reach the masses with these verses. Keep inspiring till it's curtains. Keep igniting fire in you, never stopping. We give praise. Here's the menu for today. Here's the strategy to play. Never give up, keep the faith, keep it safe. Yeah, we going and we going. Every time we hit the show, they making noises so explosive. We going up. Going, we going up. Every answer has a question. Yeah, we going up. Still there's room for expansion. Has a question. Yeah, we going.
Colombia, Afro-Caribbean honeydew. Whipping out Abels, no condiments. From Barranquilla, no argument. She going hard like a gallo. Don't care what they say, hella fight, no. I'm chilling with babe with my eyes closed. Got the champagne with my blindfolds. I'm on a flight in Miami, chopping and dripping with Moosey the family. Dry top when I dry down, acting hella savage like I'm Randy. I'm on 1,000, living my life like I don't get no hoots about plan Bs. My life something like a Tahoe, yours something like a Camry, yeah.
Give the people what they want, cause I got it. I ain't lying. Locked in, I do it just for profit. I ain't lying. Love it how I break it down just like that. I ain't lying. Love it how I run the town just like that. I ain't lying. Love it how I break it down just like that. I ain't lying.
Welcome to Courtside Countdown presented by Hard Rock Bet. Kendra Douglas, Dapper Dan, Savage Says, with a hat. And we welcome you inside the Kia Center as we get you ready for tonight's game. Don't forget the Magic play tonight. It's Fan Appreciation Night, the last game of the regular season here at the Kia Center. Hats will be available, but catch the pregame show at 6:30 with Dante Marcatelli and the crew. Are you supposed to wear that inside out? I see a guy, he's wearing it blue.
All right. Well, I mean,
Oh,
you have
there's
the option.
options.
You have options.
You have options.
So,
we'll put it on at the end. Don't
yeah,
you worry. We'll
no,
switch it up at the
I
end.
already got my fan appreciation giveaway, so
Did you?
make sure to come out to the Kia Center tonight if you still have time.
Yeah.
Catch this action and get a few special treats, like giveaways with the hats. You'll be able to take layups on the court. There's a lot of different things going on tonight
look at
that fans could take advantage of if they come out to this one.
Savage Says knows it all. I love that. The Magic, I mean, this is a great opportunity for them to get a win here tonight before going on the last two games in Chicago and Boston. But I want to talk about the last game. And honestly, it was one of those games where the Detroit Pistons came to town. They could have made it their game. They could have. They already locked up the #1 seed. There was nothing really going for them, but the Magic realizing they got to fight. They got to continue to figure out a way to continue to stack wins, and they did just that, Dan.
Yeah, no, still some very talented players playing for the Pistons. Arguably their second best player, Jalen Duren, a factor on the inside throughout. So they have guys who are capable and know what it takes to win in this league. Big reason why they were the #1 team in the East. And the Magic handled their business from just about start to finish.
Yes.
A little blip in that fourth quarter.
Teeny.
But other than that, the Magic were aggressive. And what I really liked is that they were sharing the basketball. There were guys up and down the roster that were having an impact, made big plays. But their big two of Paolo Banchero and Desmond Bane made some huge ones throughout the night that really carried this Magic team.
Yeah, the Magic, Jalen Suggs, he also had a career-high 12 assists. Orlando shot 50.6% from the field. We're 30 of 40 from the free-throw line, which is what you want to see these guys get into the line, especially guys like Paolo Banchero. Like you mentioned, Detroit did make a little bit of a comeback in that fourth, but the Magic ended up getting the big win over Detroit, 123-107. And that's what you really need to see from this group as they look to continue to push the pace, especially in this Eastern standings. There's still opportunities.
Yeah, you know what I really liked about the Magic is when the Pistons got close, it wasn't like they went to eke out a victory. Instead, they kind of bashed their head against the rock and finished them off by closing game out on a 14-2 run and really made a statement. And so that's what I liked about the Magic. Their finishing blow, their resiliency, and poise in those type of situations. The funny part about that was coming into the game, the Pistons had 27 clutch wins, which led the NBA. The Magic had 26. By allowing the Pistons to cut that to 4, the Magic notched another clutch win. So they're currently tied with the Pistons for most clutch wins in the NBA with 27.
There we go. That's a cool stat right there that you like to hear.
Yeah.
I think it's great for this Magic squad because, like Coach Mosley has said, even though we've seen some guys not play some of their guys, a lot of these teams, they're still bringing the power. They're still bringing their A game. And it was good to see the Magic really not let them play to their level.
And look, a lot of these teams are talented, deep benches. And so when you get these opportunities where guys are getting the opportunity to play, what they're trying to showcase is they deserve more time to be in the postseason rotation.
Yeah.
They deserve bigger minutes.
Yeah.
So you get a higher energy level and effort level sometimes than a team if they're playing their starters and that team's already clinched the first seed, because these guys are trying to show when you make your playoff rotation, I deserve some minutes in that grouping to showcase my talent. So those guys are waiting and chomping at the bit for that type of playing time. And so the Magic have to be, ready for what's coming for them.
They sure are. I see Paolo's on the floor. I want to remind him that Mike Malone now is the head coach at UNC, so which means Duke will lose every single year. So I might try to get his attention. If you see me turn around, don't you worry about that. I want to get to some comments, too, that you guys are giving us. Someone said, Dan, how much do I Venmo you to send me that hat to South Carolina? I know, right?
You actually want to talk to producer Will because he grabbed that for me.
Yeah.
And producer Will could be bought. So you send your best offers to producer Will, and he'll send it your way.
Yeah, there we go. We'll we're giving that all to producer Real White right there. Another question is from KR. Hope we continue playing aggressive and Suggs continue playing that playmaking point that we need out of him. I just kind of mentioned that Jalen Suggs, he had a double-double that night too, but of course a career high in assists, and that's what you do want to see more of him, being the facilitator and being someone that helped get his guys open.
Yeah, you focused heavily on that. I think it was in the New Orleans game, part of the broadcast after his performance against Dallas. So I think in 2 of the last 3 outings, we've really seen Jalen Suggs take a step forward in that regard, and that's what you want to see out of him closing the season. I also think it helps that he's playing around some higher talented level players. You put him around Desmond Bane, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero. It makes it harder to know where the ball's going to go because the Magic have so many secondary playmakers, so many guys who could do things with the ball that it's harder to jump passing lanes, passing routes. So I think that gives him the opportunity to be more successful, play more free, and really use the cerebral side of his game, which has started to grow.
Happy B-Day. No, I want him to. I'm trying to get his attention. Mike Malone, you like the hire at UNC? You like the hire at UNC? We gonna get on y'all. We're gonna get. I have to stir the pot. I have to. Okay. Anyway, back to what we were saying. Okay, if the Magic win today, that would be a 4-game win streak. It sure would, and it would be a great opportunity for them again to continue to move in the standings. I want to take a look at. You see, Desmond Bane is on the court right there.
I just like that Paolo is just constantly doing the cooking motion.
I know, stirring
for what
the
he
pot.
thinks that Duke is going to do to UNC.
They're
He's going to cook you.
Yeah, no, we're not. He's just stirring the pot. Don't you worry. We have a whole. I can't wait till next
I love
season.
this friendly banter.
I cannot
Those Duke
wait.
UNC games are going to be even more must-see TV now.
1,000%. Okay, but anyway, let's talk about tonight's game. Let's talk about Desmond Bane because we just saw him on the court. He's another guy that's been just so consistent, especially through the month of April. Scored a game-high 31 points since. Looking at his games in April, he's averaging more than 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists heading into playoffs. And he was just, sorry, I was talking about Paolo Banchero. Let me get to Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane had 25 points. And in the month of April for him, he's averaging 23.3 points. That sounds a little bit more right.
Yeah, no, and it's been a very consistent season for Desmond Bane. And we really saw, once he got himself comfortable and adapted to the Magic system and where to be on the court with these guys, he really took off and has been everything and then some for the Magic since acquiring him this offseason. Another strong performance on Monday, shooting over 50% from the field. Once again, showcasing he could score in a number of different ways. Up for Teammate of the Year. Has played in 80 games tonight when it comes to, and that is the level of consistency that you can't put a price on for Desmond Bane. Forget those picks. He was worth every penny.
I know, and it's funny, too, because I remember when we were here sitting, we were trying to figure out how many games he wasn't in, and so to hear that he's played in 80 games for the Orlando Magic, that means this man is continuing to keep his body healthy. That means this man is continuing to progress and do what this Magic squad needs them to do, and the team loves him, and they love to have him. So congratulations to Desmond Bane, 80 games.
Yeah, and look, every player over the course of an NBA season, whether they're listed as healthy or not, deals with things.
Yeah.
And Desmond, sore back at times, different issues, played through all of them. And, that's a testament to the kind of guy that he is.
It sure is. Now let's talk about the Dookie. Let's talk about Paolo Banchero and what he's been able to do so far for this Magic squad, too, especially in this last game against the Detroit Pistons. He is coming off a game-high 31 points. In those 4 games of April, he has been averaging more than 18 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. This was the thing that George Galante posted. I love it because I feel it coming tonight, possibly. I don't want to jinx us, but it's going to come. He is just 26 points away from becoming the 9th player in NBA history with 6,000 points, 1,900 rebounds, 1,200 assists during his first 4 years as a pro. That is insane when you think about what Paolo Banchero has been able to do just coming into the league.
Yeah, and what we saw in a number of those highlights is he was just going through people at times. And when he is the Paolo Express going downhill, he's impossible to stop. Another 30-point effort for him and shooting over 60% from the field. That level of efficiency just puts nightmares into opponents' game plans, because when he's aggressive, coming downhill like that, establishing early post position on some of those possessions, there's just no way to stop him.
And I think that's what we want to see more of, him getting downhill. No one's going to, Paolo, no one's going to stop you. This is a big guy. And I think if he continues to find that and continues to hone in on that, this is going to open up so many doors for P5.
Yeah, and again, we talk about the Magic getting healthier. When you have the starting lineup that the Magic will have tonight, which is what was intended to have for most of the season, but we haven't seen it all that much, of Jalen Suggs, Desmond Bain, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter Jr., it becomes a lot harder to zero in on a guy and take everything away, because there's so many other weapons on the court that can beat you. And now, even when the Magic break the lineup and go to the bench, you have guys like Anthony Black and Tristan Da Silva coming in, who are starting caliber players who've done a good job in starting caliber roles throughout the season. It makes it a lot harder to, double up and really shift everything towards P5.
Yeah, it sure does. I want to get to some of y'all's comments, and Will, I hope producer Will I hope he's looking at this, because Deck the Halls, who wanted the hat in South Carolina, said, "You joke, but I emailed Will. That hat is mine." I love this. Keep it coming. We'll see what we can do. We should have done something. I don't know what we can do around here, but that is actually really, really funny.
I love it.
I love it.
Flood Will's inbox.
Yes, flood his inbox if you want a hat.
It's not my inbox.
I know, right? Okay, I love what you just mentioned. You just mentioned guys coming off the bench. Let's talk about Anthony Black. He does bring a spark coming off the bench for this Magic squad. He was in his first game since his injury, and it was good to have Anthony Black back into the mix of things. Returned Monday after a 16-game absence. That was crazy. 14 points in 15 minutes. I think that's great for him to coming back.
Yeah, people look at the offense and things he was able to do on that end of the floor. Where I really like is when Anthony Black is focusing on the defensive end and getting in the passing lanes like we see here and taking the ball in the other direction. That sends another dynamic to the Magic's offense.
Yeah.
That disrupts other teams. That breaks them out of their flow. And when you're calling AB, you can dial up a three, and you can dial up big plays on the defensive end.
You sure can. He's just so versatile in his defensive ways, and that's what's really stood out about him, and why the Magic really do like him. But I will say this season he worked, on his game a little bit too, and we saw him such in a flow offensively. So to have him back and be able to contribute on both ends is really special to have. So one of the comments that we get saying, "Finally, get to see AB and Franz in an almost fully healthy squad heading into the postseason." That's what you want to see from this Magic squad. But let's listen to some of the guys at Shootaround.
Final home game of the regular season. Is it hard to believe that that's already the case?
Yes. It goes fast, before you even recognize it. Like you said, it's our last home game of the regular season. But it's been an unbelievable run for these guys and our fans, and it's we want to continue to play the way that they know we're capable of playing, and this will be a great time to show that and do that.
The final home game of the regular season, and that there's only 3 games left on the regular season slate.
Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like when you're in the season, it always goes by slowly, and then when it's almost over, you ask where the time went. But big week for us, and hopefully we can finish the season well. Yeah, obviously rehab, obviously you still go through a process, and that can be tough mentally as well. But I feel like I haven't been in a playing rhythm obviously for a normal season, and that's part of it too sometimes. I feel pretty good. The leg has been responding well, so I think that's the most important thing, and obviously just going to continue to keep working my way back, find some rhythm, and work on the conditioning. I think that's normal after such a time off.
Hard Rock Bet. Kendra Douglas Savage says, don't forget tonight's game is going to be on FanDuel Sports Network. You're home for the Orlando Magic with the pregame show starting at 6:30 with Dante Marcatelli and the crew, and the game tipping off at 7 p.m. So I want to get to some comments because they're all talking about tonight's game, but they're pretty good ones. So I see that the Killer Bees are going to take care of the Wolves tonight. So go Magic. That was Mr. Music Mania. And then another one saying, we need a win today. Please, no turnovers. Tonight's defense. Let's go. I like that one. That's a good one.
Dialing into a storyline of mine, perhaps.
I like it. I like it. Another one from Raymond saying, final. Oh, I already mentioned that one. Getting to see post. Oh, KR says, 14 points quietly for AB last game. Great to see in those 15 minutes. So, yes, it was good to see Anthony Black in action. Let's talk about this Timberwolves squad because we don't know who's playing. We do know who's playing, but I make that joke of basically it's going to be.
We do and we don't.
We do and we don't.
We do know some guys aren't playing.
Yes.
What they look like and what they actually roll out there,
we all
TBD.
Know. Yes.
TBD.
But tonight's game could have really great implications to the standings. Let's take a look at the Eastern Conference standings because it's going to be something that we continue to talk about. You see it right there. I mean, I'm so unwell looking at these standings because it's like weird. Everything is just so close to how it could be. Now, the Hornets, they lost last night against the Boston Celtics. The Magic, they could get a win in this one and can slowly move up. They would have to win out, of course, if they want to be in great standings. But when you take a look at this, I mean, how much does this make you nervous?
No, it makes me nervous, and it just shows you that if you win and take care of business, good things can be afforded to you because that gap has started to close. The Magic could find themselves anywhere from 6 to 5th even if the Hawks fall apart.
Right.
So just got to win your games and put yourself in the best situation possible. I really think if the Magic win out, 7 is a lock.
Okay.
And 6 is a possibility.
Okay.
So I want the Magic to win out.
Yes.
And let the rest of it handle itself.
Yeah, I think that would be really good to have too, and that would be really great. So let's talk about this team, this Timberwolves team. Like I mentioned, a lot of guys out to injury. You're not going to see Gobert. You're not going to see Anthony Edwards. They're two big guys. Who you are going to see is Joe Ingles. If you guys remember Joe Ingles, who used to play for the Magic, he will be starting tonight in this one. So taking a look at the matchup for this game, you see where the Timberwolves are in the standings. You see where the Magic are in the standings. How much they're averaging in points and in rebounds. So what kind of a challenge does this team pose for this Magic squad?
Yeah, with guys up and down their roster, even deep into their bench, they have a lot of high-level defenders.
Yeah.
And 12 times this season, the Wolves have held their opponents to 40% or lower shooting from the field.
Yeah.
8 times they've held teams under 100 points. And in both of those instances, they're undefeated this season. So they're a team that really prides themselves on the defensive end, getting steals. That helps lead to their offense. They have guys who could score the ball in that fashion. So Magic head coach Jamal Mosley really talked about limiting the paint, controlling that once again, and not letting the Wolves get out to run, which usually becomes so important in these situations where teams are resting guys or don't have normal players in the rotation. They're going to make it simple, which is try to get steals, get in the passing lanes, get out and run and get easy offense. So the Magic have to do their part to make sure that doesn't happen for Minnesota tonight.
They sure do. Some of the comments that I'm seeing tonight, tell Kendra, do you think Franz and AB know how much that they were missed? I think they know how much they were missed. I think we continue to tell them.
We've told them that.
I think we've told them. I know. I said, I think we've told them that. I remember I was talking to Franz one day, and I asked him how he was doing, and I was just curious to how he was doing because we didn't get to see him a lot. And he instantly said, I'm fine. My leg is fine. I said, no. How are you? Like, how's the day? So I think they know how much that we miss them because they continue to want to remind us that they are healthy and that they are ready to help this Magic team win tonight. So I want to get to your storylines. And let's take a look. All right, because supposedly, from what I'm understanding, we already got some fans who were hinting at your storylines.
Yeah, so number one, know your personnel. This is one of those games where you have to be locked in. There may only be, 10 minutes of film on a guy from what you've seen, and you have to make sure you know what his skill set is, whether he's a three-point shooter, somebody who drives to the rack, etc. It's going to be key tonight because the Wolves may go deep into their bench.
Yeah.
Next, keep dishing it out. Over the last 3 games, the Magic are averaging nearly 31 assists per game. That's the type of offense that makes them electrifying when they're sharing at that level. But got to limit the turnovers. Jalen Suggs only had 1 or 2 of them the other night. That was big with the 12-assist game. Got to keep that trend going. And lastly, final regular home season game of the year at the Kia Center. Give the crowd a show. As Magic head coach Jamal Mosley said, you know, we want to show them the type of basketball we're capable of playing. Sure, sells the type of basketball we're capable of playing, and get everybody hyped for the postseason. I thought Franz Wagner said it best. Some, reporter was asking him, final regular season game at the crib, what's that going to be like? And Franz was like, emphasizing final regular season game. We plan to be playing a lot more basketball here. I like that mindset, but still, remind these fans why they want to buy playoff tickets and be here for this postseason.
I love it right there. Someone I think is tired of me saying the word yeah, and they said, Kendra, I bet you can't go the rest of the show without saying yeah. I could. I very well could. You know what? For you, I will come up with different responses. So instead of yeah, we'll just say okay.
Bet.
I hear you. Love it. Got all the responses for you. Here's my favorite one. There are rumors that when Magic players are on the injury list, they're actually really just chilling in Stuff's Magic Castle. And they're eating Dan's secret stash of candy. And that Stuff found that and stole from his friends. Wait.
Well, that's one rumor, but that would have been an awfully filled up cave and castle at times this season. I'm not sure he's got that much room in his crib.
I don't know either, but I love the energy from the Magic fans. I think that is something we should continue to say. If guys are on the injury list, I'm just going to say they're chilling in Stuff's Magic Castle. That seems like much more of a great storyline than everyone continuing to ask when people are coming back.
I like to think that there's magical healing powers in that instance.
Yeah.
So guys would come back quicker. So I'm all for it.
Said the word again. I'm trying to do better. Okay. Bet. Say less. I love it. I'm so petty. I love this. Okay, some comments saying, no, we need to get the defense. Let's go Magic. More comments saying, let's get them, guys. Let's go Magic. Play the song. Before we get out of here, I want to get your final thoughts on tonight's game and just how important it is for this Magic team to get a win here.
No question about it. This is as critical as it gets. But when you look back at things, you take a step back. Look, the season hasn't gone from start to finish exactly how everybody has wanted. Coaches, players, us, fans, all included, where you wanted this team to, take this giant step with Desmond Bane added. However, everything is now in front of them with a full unit. And believe it or not, this Magic team has the opportunity to win 46 games this season, which will pass their total from prior years. And so they're in the position where they could be playing their best basketball, healthy, have a higher win total. That's what we should be looking forward to. Celebrate that and just let this team be determined and remembered by what they do in the postseason, because they have an opportunity to really shock a lot of people and be a team no one wants to play.
Bet, Dan.
I like it.
One comment before we get out of here. When Jalen and Paolo wear gold-colored shoes, the Magic always win. Okay.
I got to start paying more attention to shoes. I'm going to admit, in my analysis game, that is a weak spot for me.
It's okay.
So, I'm going to have to start tracking that as well.
Just hit up Javon Carter. He does something different every time. I'm sure he can also help you and remind you of what's going on with the shoe situation, because the guys, they do wear some pretty cool shoes out there. I have noticed when they're wearing certain shoes, I've noticed that trend a lot. So maybe that's something we'll do next season. We'll bring a shoe cam or something.
I like it.
I like it. Giving more work to our producers back there. I know. I don't know if they want to do that, but we'll throw it in the air and see what happens. Okay, that's going to do it for us on court. Oh my gosh, that's going to do it for us on the regular season.
For the regular season, but we will be back. But just to cross our T's and dot our I's, thank you. Thank producer Will.
Yes.
Thank Up in the Sky, our team up there, Jason Dewberry, Maria, our cameraman, everybody who's contributed over the course of the season to this show. Thank you. And thank the fans for supporting all along, because without them, we wouldn't have this show.
Where's the hat?
Appreciate all the comments, the Will Dawsons, the Luis Rosarios, the people who showed support throughout the year with gifts, comments, etc. We love it all.
We love it all. I can't thank you guys enough. The way that you guys have shown up for this show and shown up for us, it is so much appreciated. And I'm so thankful to be working with you all, our staff and our team behind the scenes. I'm so thankful to be working with you guys as well. So thank you so much. We will be here for the postseason, but tonight, fan appreciation night, it makes sense. So that'll do it for us on Courtside Countdown, presented by Hard Rock Bet. Kendra Douglas, Savage says, thank you guys again. Now head over to FanDuel Sports Network and lock in with Dante Marcatelli and the crew as they get you ready for tonight's game on Magic Live, the pregame show, with tonight's game tipping off at 7 p.m. against the Minnesota Timberwolves. That'll do it for us here. Thank you guys. You like my hat? Thank you guys. Have a good one.
Give the people what they want, 'cause I got it. I ain't lying.